Forget about the president normalizing relations with Cuba. To hear New York City cops tell it they want their mayor to start working on normalizing relations with them. They might want to hold their breath, though, because ahead of New York Mayor Bill de Blasio having a big powwow on race relations this Friday, guess who's not invited? Cops. Guess who is? Protesters. To former New York City police officer Dan Longino, who says that this is throwing water on everything all over again. Ed Mullins, I should say. Ed, I'm wondering what's going on here. What is really going on here? Because it wouldn't have hurt the mayor to just add a meeting with you guys.
I think the mayor has a progressive agenda. That it's a belief that he has in his philosophies of his political views, and he is going to fulfill his agenda, and his concept of law and order and the foundation of everything, you know, this nation is built on is being disregarded.
All right, I had mentioned Dan before, but Dan was of the view, a former cop and became a Secret Service agent, that law enforcement isn't respected. So you're the guy who's president of the Sergeants Benevolent Association, and you went beyond just saying the mayor threw your cops under the bus, but that he was a nincompoop.
Yeah.
Now, Police Commissioner Bratton says that kind of language that others have used, isn't helping matters any.
Well, there's a lot of issues that aren't helping matters, and Commissioner Bratton works for the mayor. It's an appointed position, so, you know, I understand his view and why he says what he does. I happen to think Commissioner Bratton is an excellent commissioner with years of experience, but he also works for the mayor, and I guess he needs to feel the, you know, ability to defend the mayor, but ultimately.
But even he couldn't defend the association with Al Sharpton. I mean, he's very nice, diplomatic about it, but, you know.
I disagree with many of the viewpoints the mayor has and the agenda that he has. There's been no outreach to the police. You know, this city's made up of 8 million people. We see 30,000 protesters who are getting exactly what they want. And what about the rest of the 8 million people?
Let me ask you that. Do a lot of your members go slow when they see what's going on and say, do I want to get in the middle of that, knowing I could be sued, or individually sued, I could lose my job? Is it really worth it?
We only need to look back a week ago in Brooklyn when we had a police officer telling a male to drop a knife nearly 40 times before he ultimately had to shoot him, and that was a result of this male with a knife stabbing someone else. Nearly 40 times it took to get that to happen. And you have to question why it took so long to put that incident to an end. That there's a lot of hesitancy out there, there's a lot of concern out there. We have great concerns with these protesters. You know that we had one protester who had 3 hammers with him. You know, that in our view is a premeditated act. He went to the store, he bought the hammers, he kept them in a bag, walked around.
Well, there's a guy who actually did hammer.
And he's a professor on top of it in one of the schools here. So, you know, this is, you know, an act that's being calculated to do what? Cause injuries to people, cause damage, cause friction.
Have you guys been working on a meeting with the mayor, or do you even bother, or is it so chilled a relationship that it's kind of like back to the days of David Dinkins?
I had called the mayor's office last February, never got a return phone call. And it's at the point, Neil, as I said the other day, there's a lot greater issues at stake. My organization is going to release a couple of point plan that we believe will help resolve a lot of the animosity between the community and the police, and hopefully the mayor will pick up on it.
How do your minority members feel? It says, we forget it's a 60% minority police force.
Right. I've been sitting with my minority members, and I've had one-on-ones with them. I've talked to them in the street, and they are very upset at the actions of the mayor and City Hall and this administration.
Good. Thank you very much. Very good seeing you again. He close him as he sees him. Agree or disagree. The debate ensues. Meanwhile, big news.